Okay, folks, look, I got a big smile on my face. You know why? Because I'm finna give up the real pro tip on making the best roasted chicken on the planet. Let's get it. All right, folks, listen, I'm finna tell you the real secret. It's in the brine. Now, some of you guys know me for brining. Once I started brining a few years ago, I have never ever looked back. Everything must be a go, right? So since we're gonna do a roasted chicken, meaning we're gonna do it in the oven, all of that, I'm gonna show you guys just how to roast, right? Now I'm gonna answer all those questions about, hey, should I brine or should I inject? All of that, right? So let's get started. Now you guys see, look, I got a few ingredients right here. You guys can just about look at this and tell what I got out here. We got peppercorns, honey, bay leaf. We got all three of these herbs right here. These right here are garlic, lemon, and this right here is gonna be the star. This is gonna be the bird, right? So this is just a chicken, right? And then I always tell everybody I don't use water, but in this case, we're gonna start off with the water, right? And it's really this and the kosher salt. Now, I'm gonna put out a lot of kosher salt, and I'm probably gonna put about a cup of that in here, but I know some of you guys are gonna say, what is up with that? But don't trip. It's the kosher salt and the water and these ingredients. It's that salt that goes into the chicken, it goes in there, does its thing, and pulls out. There is a scientific, some scientific verbiage on that, but don't trip. I'm just gonna tell you how to do it, and I promise you're gonna have success. All right, so obviously you guys see a cast iron, or let me just say it this way, the Dutch oven, right? Dutch oven, this is cast iron, it's coated with ceramic, if you guys didn't know, right? So this is my kosher salt. First thing I wanna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and add my 8 cups of water to it. All right, so what I wanna do now is I wanna get it nice and hot, right? I wanna bring this up to a boil. So this is already going. Now, this is what you guys are gonna like. This is what makes it simple. I call this a dump and go, because all of these ingredients are gonna go in here. But I do wanna highlight this right here. I don't know if you guys ever seen one of these, but look, this is a mesh, right? A mesh ball. I can just roll all this up and put this in here. I'm gonna tell you why I like using these, because when I drop these in here, they don't fade. They don't just like disappear, get soft, and I'm still cleaning things out. And it helps me without, like straining and stuff like that, right? So whenever I put my fresh herbs, I like to just tuck them in here, drop these in. It's like a tea bag now. I just take this, dump these, and rinse this. I will put a link somewhere so you guys can check them out if you want to do it. Especially for the holidays, folks, I'm all about simplicity and the ease of everything. All right, so look, we got a boil now, folks, right? So I'm gonna set this top over here. First thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna come over the top. I got 1 cup. We finna put this kosher salt in here. Once I got a cup, I'm gonna add that to it. Now, that being in there, this is how I determine, how long that I cook this. We really want this to dissolve, right? But remember, I told you it's a dump and go. So it usually takes about 2 or 3 minutes for everything to to dissolve, right? So now, peppercorns, honey. So now, look, I'm gonna bring my garlic cloves, and I'm gonna show you guys this right here. I just take them and just smash them. Right? That'll open them up and let them release their flavor in the inside, right? So by the time I get all of this in there, it's probably only gonna take 2 minutes. There shouldn't be any more kosher salt. And the kosher salt is the part that really does the trick, right? Now, because we boiling this, we gotta go ahead and get this cool. I'm gonna show you how we gonna cool it, right? Drop my bay leaves in. They're gonna hydrate and then release all of their flavor in the inside. Right, now I'm gonna take for my lemon, I'm gonna just cut me a few slices. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and use this. You guys do not have to have one of these, but I'm telling you, it just makes life so much easier. You know what I mean? As you'll see in just 1 second. If you ever put fresh herbs in there, sometimes you gotta pull. It depends on what you're making. But, oh man, I can smell the aromatic. Ah yeah, everything is right, right? I got all of that in here. 3 different herbs, check it out. Boop, there they go. So, it's been a couple of minutes, since I had all ingredients inside of here, right? I can look at my water and tell you it's right. I can feel on the bottom, all of the salt has, dissolved. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this fire off. Now here's where all you gotta do. Obviously, we can't take this and cover up the chicken, right? We gotta cool that. So if we'll put the chicken in there right now, I promise you to start cooking. So check me out. Everything is off. Like I said, everything is dissolved. How are we gonna cool this? We're gonna cool it with some ice, right? So I just took my ice maker, the ice that's inside of the freezer, and I dropped this in here. So we wanna go ahead, and it's cool to get some fresh ice anyway, right? So I just put this in here. Now we're gonna let this stop that, from being hot so we don't cook it. See how it's melting that right there? And then we'll just let it just work. All right, so look, I got this nice and cold. I just hit it with my meat thermometer. It just told me this right here is 98 degrees. So you know what, because when I stick my finger in it just to test it, I was feeling like, man, it might have a little heat to it, but don't forget, we 98.9 degrees Fahrenheit anyway with our body, right? So I'm gonna be using this 8-quart container right here. Some of you guys might not have one of these just because I'm in the restaurant and the food business. You know, I keep these, right? What I'm gonna do, I've already taken this, cleaned it, pulled out his neck, all of that, right? So this is just like the residual. I'm gonna drop this in here just like that, folks. All right, so now that we have our brine, it's ready to go, right? I got my bird, I got it in some type of a bucket. You know what I mean? If you guys are using a bucket, make sure you got a lid that will seal. That's gonna be key, right? So now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna pour all of the contents in here inside of there. Now listen, if you don't have a bucket, you know what? I actually could have took this bird and set this inside of my brine and just put a top on it. You can put it in the refrigerator, but I'm not. I'm gonna put mine outside in the garage. This time of year, everything is nice and cool. That's why I say it's good if you're gonna use a bucket, you know, and make sure that you do have, you know, a sealable top, right? So let's take this and let's get this going. I'm gonna do this real fast, you know what I mean? Because you know when you pour slow, it runs down the pot. The main thing is what you wanna look out for, you wanna make sure that your salt and everything is dissolved, it mixed well, right? And then if you guys can see, I like doing it this way so you guys can see the whole, you know, how it works. You wanna make sure that your bird is completely, you know what I mean, completely submerged. So you guys can see down there, then you can see just everything working. See peppercorns, that's him right there. I'm gonna get that off the top. The inside of the cavity is full, so everything is good to go here. Now I'm gonna put this top on, right? And like I said, I'm gonna put it in the garage, just nice and cool. Again, this time of the year, you know what I mean? This is almost November 1st. This will get you just right. So let me put it there. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we finna roast. Okay, folks, look, next day. Now I want you guys to check this out. This is done. This is already cool. Don't forget our body temperature is at 98.1 degrees, right? That is Fahrenheit. If you were to put your finger in here, you could just see it's cool. Now, first thing we're gonna do is preheat. I've already preheated my oven. I'm at 400 degrees, so we good there. Now, let me go ahead and take this out. We're gonna come over here to this sink. What we're gonna do is we're gonna rinse this and get everything off of it. And then I gotta pat it completely dry. You know why? Because we finna make a compound butter. We finna stuff the turkey inside that cavity. We're gonna put that in the inside, and I'm finna show you guys how to make the juiciest, you know, chicken on the planet. Right, so this part everybody's familiar with. Anytime you have, you know, your protein and it's wet, you just wanna pat it dry, right? So we'll do it like this. And the reason I'm doing it, you know, you wanna get it dry is because we're gonna add a little seasoning to it, and the real seasoning is gonna be in the butter, right? We're gonna do a compound butter, and I'm gonna show you guys just how easy it is to infuse this with some flavor. Now, one of the questions I get all the time is, people say that, especially those who have never brined, they always ask me, can you inject? Yes, you can inject, right? It's no problem. You can inject and brine, that works. But just to get the true effect from the brine, you know what I mean? I just do that only, you know, by itself, right? So I'm just gonna take this, just make a couple of cuts, get rid of some of this fat. All right, so what I wanna do now is I just wanna take my lemon, right? And I'm gonna just cut it like, there's no right or no wrong way. That right there will do, right? I'm gonna set this over here, and then I'm gonna take my onion. Let me get this peeled, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut this maybe in the 6. All right, so let's go ahead and cut this down like that. Well, that's a good piece. You know what I mean? Let's get rid of these. And I'm probably gonna take one of these and just cut it down like that. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and stuff this into the cavity of the chicken. Okay, so look, I went ahead and cut these down. You know what I mean? Instead of having them big like that, I just cut them in half, because we're gonna put these in the inside. Now, at 400 degrees is what I preheated my oven, right? So we're gonna generate a little bit of that steam, right? So take a little bit of the onion, drop this in here with it. I'm gonna put one of these like towards the back right here. I think I'm gonna put an onion on top of lemon that's in there. Now when that steam hits this, this is how your breast and the inside of your chicken meat gonna come out. Nice, very flavorful, things like that, right? So we got that. Now, look at this right here. We're gonna go ahead and take our, this is thyme, rosemary, right? Thyme and rosemary. Now I can, you know, take some string and tie this. Let's see if I can get this in here without it beating it up. If it doesn't, then I'll go ahead. Nah, it goes in here just fine. All right? So if you guys want to take a look, see how I got it in there? Onion, lemon, our herbs. All right, so I done gave up all of the gems as far as the real secret is, and the pro tip is, you know what I mean? It's really about the brine technique. Now that we done that, now we're gonna raise it up. You know, it's the holidays, folks. Everybody coming over, friends, family, or maybe you just wanna go all out and really just get down here, you know, and cook, right? So let me go ahead and grab myself a fork. I got myself a whisk here. Now look, I just got myself some room temperature butter, because we're gonna make compound butter, right? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just start off by just taking my spoon. I got some minced garlic right here. You know what I mean? Just add some of this to it. Whew. Now this is like my little tester spoon. I know some of y'all like, man, that might be a lot, you know, for the amount of butter that I'm using. But don't trip, folks. This right here about to be fire. Now, you wanna take fresh herbs. It's the fresh herbs, people. You know what I mean? We just want to go ahead and, you know, get this minced down. Then we're going to add that too. We really just want about a couple of tablespoons, right? All right, so once you got it all broke down, got rid of the stems, right? You go ahead and just mince it down like I'm doing right here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you want to leave the stem in there, you can. Just make sure that when you do mince, that you mince it nice and small. You know what I mean? But I like to do mine like this. I take out what I can. Like the obvious, you know what I mean? Like, but other than that, look at this right here, folks. All right, so now that I got it, you know, I got it already chopped down. I like it. I'm looking at the size of it. I mixed them all together, right? So I got like a medley of fresh herbs. Look at that, folks. And then if you feel like once you mix it all up and you feel like you want to make another pass, check this out. Just do it. Just the finer you do it, you know, the more spreads you get. You know what I mean? And then when you get an even roast also, right? So just run this by. I think what I had already was fine enough, but I just want to show you guys and give you guys options, right? Now, take my fork. Come on in here, get in here. The only way you're gonna see that is if you get in here and look inside this ramekin right here, right? So remember, I said we gotta be what? We have to be at room temperature, right? So I'm just opening that up. I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a sprinkle right here. And now we finna work, folks. All right, so once I got it all mixed up, right, I'm going to give this like a small, generous pinch. I don't know how I can say that. I just gave it a small pinch, you know, kosher salt, right? I did use salted butter, you know what I mean? Listen, we doing it for the flavor, so we don't want to add a whole lot of salt to it, right? So I'll take that. I'm just going to work this in, and then what we're going to do is, it's going to be a little bit, I should have got a bowl, to be honest with you guys. You know what I mean? You got to do this in a bowl. You know what I mean? You watch the video first, you know what I mean? Then you go from there. You know what I mean? Then you can go ahead and have your bowl, right? So I'm gonna leave this just like this. Like I said, we just wanted to get it mixed, you know, the salt and the pepper. You should come up with something like this. And I gotta just let you know, your brain sensor should just be going. Just the fact that you went ahead and, you know, brine this, right? After you brined it, what else did you do? You made this compound butter, and you can smell all of the aromatics in your kitchen. And just hearing that your oven is on is just amazing, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear a little bit of this skin up like this with my finger, right? This right here. Most people know how to do this. I've seen videos since I've been on YouTube, people doing this. So I'm sure you done run across it at least once in your life, right? I just take my finger and I get in here, right? And just separate that membrane, you know, for the skin, you know, to the breast. All right, now I'm gonna get in here with my compound butter, right? And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna massage this and work this over, you know, the breast, right? Now I've seen people when they do it, they put a whole lot in there. You just want to make sure that it all got a little butter, because we're going to come on this skin too, and that's going to help it, you know, brown and give you that presentation that you're looking for, right? Be careful, because you can see I kind of like ripped this part right here, but no worries. It'll all come together once I got it in the oven, right? All right, so I'm done here. You know, I just changed my gloves, right? Because I still like to get it. I don't know, sometimes I become a perfectionist, you know what I mean? Just like want to see it all the same level, not too much on there, right? So now what we get ready to do is just tie up these legs, right? So I like to leave a little piece like this off at the end. I really shouldn't be showing you guys this because I struggle with this every time, right? So I go around it a couple of times, right? Leave that down. Then what I want to do is I want to bring it up to where, you know what? I just thought of an idea so that I won't have those problems. Let's go ahead and tie a knot right here. I can't believe it. I've been doing it, trying to catch it without it coming loose. Now we got it, right? So now I can work with this hand over here. Boy, you learn something new every day. Then the rest of this part will be familiar to what we know as a how we tie a shoe. I don't need to put that bow on there or nothing like that. I just put it in the knot, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna cut it off at the end anyway. But if you guys got them skills to make it like nice, you know what I'm saying, and pretty, go ahead. All right, so now I'm getting ready to take, look, I got some avocado spray, you know what I mean? I like when I go in the grocery store and they got all different types of products, you know what I mean? They got spray, olive oil, all of that, you know what I mean? So that's it. Don't need no whole lot. It's just so that nothing sticks, but I promise you, nothing's gonna stick to this anyway. So now I'm gonna pick this up, I'm gonna set it right there. We already preheated, you know what I mean? They're ready to go, so I'm gonna grab them there. Ooh-wee. Let me change these gloves. All right, so once you like this is all cool. Actually, I like to just make sure that I cover up as much as the breast as I can, right? Now, I'm gonna stick this in the oven, and this is where it's gonna be key. We're probably gonna go about 1 hour and 20 minutes, right? But I'm gonna make sure that I have 3 timers set so that I can see how it's browning, right? Too much on one side. After 20 minutes, I like to just rotate it, and I rotate it again. Then if it becomes too dark, because it really depends on your oven and your altitude, right? If it becomes too dark, you know what we do? We just make a tent out of foil, put that over the top, and let it continue cooking. Now, the only way we're gonna know if this is fully cooked is what? Gotta have a meat thermometer. We're gonna check that breast. We're looking for 165. Okay, folks, so now that we're done, you can just see the way this bird looks right here. Ah, yeah. Now, don't forget, it's the holiday. We usually turn something out like this so that it'll look nice. And then, how do I know that it's right? Not just by cooking by color. Because look, to be honest with you, I'm gonna show you something. If you guys look right here, I put a little tint of foil over the top just to slow it down. As I was rotating, I was looking like it was starting to get a little bit brown. We wasn't close to getting ready, so you put this over the top. I don't close or nothing like that. You don't see no creases. Just set it on top and let your oven do the work. Right? Now, I'm gonna take this. I've already done it. This really just temped. When I did it, it was at 167. That was just right. Now I'm gonna stick this in here like that. You see how I go in there like butter. You know what I mean? Ooh-wee. It done rolls up a little bit. Look, I'm looking at 172. I'm gonna check one more part. You know, one more. Let's see where we at. Ah, yeah. Yes, sir. Got to get yourself one of these. This happens to be mine. See where it says smoking and grilling with AB. These right here are a must. This ensures that you don't run into no red, no uncooked meat, or nothing like that. Now, I'm gonna let this sit up and let this rest for about let's just let this rest for about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Then I'm gonna go ahead and cut me a piece and show you what the brine is all about. Okay, so I done let it sit up for about 10 minutes, right? So what I'm gonna do is, let me move this out the way. I just stuck a spatula underneath the bottom. I almost did this without showing you guys, but we wanna put it somewhere where we can, present it, right? I don't know how good that had looked, inside of here, but don't discard this right here, because you might wanna go ahead and get your baster and then take your baster and put a little bit over the top, right? So let me go ahead and fix this up. Let me take some pictures of this model right here, and let's turn her into a star. All right, folks, now listen, I did what I said I was gonna do because that's why you're here watching this video, right? I done turned this chicken into a star. Now, before I carve this, I want you guys to take a look at this. Listen, you talking about being in the holiday spirit? I am. Look, get your own meat slicer right here, right? Obviously, we got this chicken. Look, get a little bit of that smoking and grilling with AB. Makes for a great gift. And guess what? We got a 35% off, and we're gonna use the code HOLIDAYAB. And that's it, folks. So listen, pick up one of these, and I'm not finna ramble. I'm finna just show you guys when I cut this. Let me get this set up so you guys can see it. Why I say I brine all of my proteins moving forward as of the last, really like about 8 or 9 years. All right, let's go. Now, you guys just see me carve that. Listen, this had been resting for 10 minutes, and then I started, cutting on it. This has been taking a while. Don't forget I took pictures and all that, but you want to see and you want to talk about tender, look at this right here. This is like super tender and moist. I'm gonna go ahead. Most people want to eat this coming off that breast, but you know what? This is where all my flavor is at. You know what I mean? Along with that light and refreshing with all of those herbs